kuha si te kuto e kia usa e tia tuto e tia hiku sikita e koa hia si e kuto hia isko a tia e ko it is I once again sukuto hia hikia oto hazia ko e hia ia suko ia hia it is I the collective suko haya tu ia kia hia suko Here, see, koto here, sikoto ia, we are speaking as one. Sikoto, sikiti, titi, koto, hea, sikia, o sikato, tia, hikia, roka. Here, zukia is, kia, we are the Arcturian Council. Sokoto, hitia, ukia, sikitia, ruto. Here, sia kia haia toa hia ia ko haia sia kitea hiuko tia ia sikia toto heia ia sikia hoa. Here, zia ia kia hia hiuko to hia ia to hia ia sikia hoa. Here, we are helping release your energies. Koto hia ia to hoa. Here, sia haia koko kaya hia te hoa haia tiko hia te hia. Hea sikia hua haia tu e hia i sikia huto e hida e sika o koko haia tia hitua. Hea so hea e kia uta i ko hi tia isi a tutu tia e tiki. Hea siu kia yuko a e sikia uto hi tia hua e kia o sikia. Kia so ia he tia hilkoa, ia tia hoa, ia tia koa tia hi tia suko i hi o sikia ki kia ia toto ia tia koa. Kia zio ko tia i te ia koto ia siki to ia tito to ia tia kia tuko tia sia ia tia tukuto ia sikua ia tia ia kokoa ia sikiti. Hia zuko e te ioko e te ioko a sia koto e hia sukuto e te ioko a sia ki e te a usikia. Hia sia toto e i ki o to e te toko tia sia kukua e sikia o te ioko. Hia zuo e kia ika e sukuto a e sikia o to i hia i sukota e ia sikita sukuto ia. Yesugoya.
I just got telepathically that the energies that we've been holding and clearing, a lot of it has to do with the residuals of the earthquake that just happened in Turkey, between the earth energies, the elemental energies that we connect with, as well as the lost lives and those that are grieving for them. The nations around the world, that energy is something that we have been picking up and holding, and then that's what that sickness, that all of a sudden just being overwhelmed with that illness, that's what that was, is us moving those energies.
Yeah, it moved from my lower back to my front, between my solar plexus and sacral area. But it's
now at least I can yawn them out. Before, man, I thought I was going to toss my cookies. Literally, I was like, oh my god. Then I had to lay down. Well, you guys saw I was laying down, and then after that I coughed up some phlegm. So I don't know where that came from, but I coughed up some phlegm, and then I was like, oh, I'm feeling better. So then I was able to sit back up, and here we are back, you know, at least I'm able to sit back in the chair instead of laying down like I was. But now I'm like kind of yawning in that. And I was hearing the connection with the Arcturians when I was laying down, saying that they were helping us, that they were healing us. And I was like, well, this is a pretty rough way to heal us. But I mean,
yeah,
that's the thing, is that it's so physical, you know?
Yeah, I have that girding such sensation in the front, more in the front of my mid solar plexus now. It's like, it's not as low as my sacral. It's like my mid solar plexus, mid to bottom of my solar plexus is where I'm getting cramping, basically, because all that energy from my back moved to the front, probably to bring it forward to be released, to be healed.
I had to put my heater back on. We keep going from hot to cold too, as these energies are moving.
Oh.
And I was just hearing that like the cold that was coming through is the white dragons of the north, the energy of the north, to cool down the amplified energies of the heat of the earth. I think that has to do with the tectonic plates moving.
Yeah, I got tectonic in my head right before you said it. Yeah. Telepathic connection. Well, the friction, yeah, the buildup of heat, heat, pressure, friction.
Right.
Comes to mind, yeah.
I think it intensified when we connected in, and with the Hopi collective, that earth elemental energy combined with all of us how we combine to ground and to connect in before we begin to channel, that energy just came through, because I was feeling fine before that. And then after the channeling, all of a sudden I was feeling the heat, feeling the cold, and then feeling like after they were leaving, all of a sudden I felt like really ill. And so I was like, oh man, I'm clearing something, but this is not good. Just because of how physical it is. And then I thought, well, maybe it's because I ate before I channeled, before we connected in. I didn't really channel, I just did some light language.
I'm feeling, like nauseous, lightheaded.
Yeah. Welcome.
Oh,
Welcome
my
to the
goodness.
club. Takuien yara tahoro kohira ma kahira tahi shikria ma hara tahoro no okoira ma akahira pa ichkrenya pudi takudu uru nyara ta ekatahari totuira mara kiara ta ianara inyuku uira ma anya Yes, we are the Arcturians, and we are from the Galactic Healing Council. The reason that we have you working here today is because the energies from Earth are so strong and so low density at this time that it is not only affecting the human beings within Earth, but also the galactic realms, as many of the light workers, lights are dimmed. And the reason for this is that they are getting caught up in the energy of the loss, the energy of the anger of, why is this happening to me, to my family, to this country? The lack of understanding of the earth within its shifts and its realms, along with many of the other energies that are happening, similar to flooding and hurricanes, not recent tsunamis, but tsunamis as well. And so these energies are stagnating within Earth. And as they are stagnating within Earth, all of that stagnation is coming up for release as people's emotions are hitting these low frequencies. And although it needs to happen at this time, as Gaia is hitting her ascension plane, and although she has already ascended, as we know, as all of you know, still going through the timeline of the game, the release still needs to come. And for those of you who are working your hardest to stay in the light, to stay in your joy, to stay in your now, to not get caught up in those energies, you are becoming the pillars to release this energy. And as you've already ascertained between your conversation with your own intuitiveness, these all of a sudden being swarmed with illness, with that sensation of dizziness, of the energy being stuck within your body, within your head, and understanding that you need to move it. And when you move your body physically, this also moves the energy. And so as these energies are being moved within your bodies, you're not just moving your energies, which is typically enough for you to have to deal with, but within this combined group, being 1,000-fold stronger than you normally are, you've agreed, as your higher selves have agreed, to take on this energy and move it. And so therefore, connecting in with your earth elemental selves, although unbeknownst to you within your physical conscientious knowledge within your minds, this feeling of these energies of hot and cold and sudden nausea, burping and yawning and coughing. All of these are ways to physically move the energies through the physicalness of your being, which truly is what you're here to experience nonetheless. And so we are here to help move and transition you through those energies. The recommendation to lay on the ground is a solid one. As you ground and connect back with the earth, this will help to bring you back to a balance within your chakra systems. Breathing, deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth is a beautiful way to regulate your own internal systems. But you will continue to feel this energy within your bodies. Do call on us. The Arcturian Healing Council is certainly one of the easiest to connect to. But if you also feel other energetic realms or beings that you would like to have assist, feel free to reach out to the angelic realm, to the El Yeha, to Archangel Raphael specifically. To the Lemurians, asking for their med bed. These are all methodologies of your being able to move and clear this energy to come back to balance. Drinking water intentionally, blessing it with light, with love. And then breathing through it. This advisement of breathing through it, bringing peace into your core, has been mentioned to you in the past 2 years. Think back to how many times the channelers have said, when there is chaos around you, find the calm within and breathe. So when you connect in with your internal core, with your heart, with your root chakra, this will allow you to find the balance of the calmness that is. And then these energies, which are being mirrored from the galactic realms back because of this low vibration frequency, all of a sudden in its overwhelming shadow, if you may think of your bright lights being on, emanating from your vehicle, and then all of a sudden you've turned your lights to fog lights. So instead of being a beautiful, bright, beaming white, they're all a mellow yellow, hard to see, and it's reverberating through the galactic realms. And so as we sensed that, once you came together to connect in, we immediately showed up, which is why at the beginning of the channeling, you heard the Arcturians within the light language. I am Sel-I-Ha. Sel-I-Ha. And I speak as a representative. I am open to your questions if you have any, or if you are asking for specific, unique healing, I am willing to aid and abet you in this moment.
Yes, I have a question. So there was an individual, a man that both Wendy and I felt an energetic connection to yesterday, in one of our, group chats. And is this someone that we are perhaps meant to, work with in the future or connect more with? Any
Yes,
sense around that?
you are feeling this soul family connection with the indigo ray. There are also star seed connections, which is why his energy came through so strongly and you both resonated with it, as your resonation between one another and telepathic connection within one another is also so strong at this period of time, as it will continue to be. And so as you recognized his energy, this created the need or the desire for you to reach out and to learn more, to feel his energy, where you reached out for the connection and Wendy reached out for the information, the images of recent postings to see what type of energy is coming from this being. And that is that soul family connection, similar to how you each felt as you began to connect the multiple years back when you first reached out to one another and to Joan. You felt it immediately. And so thus the experience will also begin to shift as the masculine energy, the divine masculine, starts to open up and encompass their own divine feminine, finding the balance within themselves. And he is one of the way showers in this field. And he is experiencing it and will welcome understanding this feeling and connection that he is beginning to open up to more and experiencing more within himself. So you will find that there will be additional interactions, more direct versus group, if you understand my meaning.
Yes. And I'm kind of intuitively feeling like maybe he shared that lifetime when Wendy and I were sisters and we were shape-shifting dragons. And I'm almost feeling like he was maybe part of that lifetime. That's just kind of an intuition, but he could be part, connected to us through other lifetime experiences as well. Yeah.
Many lifetimes, and you are correct in that that is one of them, but you have shared many together. And so what you are recognizing, both of you, is that you are feeling the energetic signatures now, as you are noticing that you will smell. This discussion came up earlier, that you may smell grandmother's perfume, your father's cigarette smoke. You've now recognized Sally Sasquatch's scent, if not her energy, to know when she's around, or the same with the dragons. You are beginning to recognize these higher dimensional aspects of your own being. And as you are recognizing and connecting in more and more, you'll notice that desire, that need, that recognition of the energy. And so acknowledge it. And as you begin to acknowledge that you noticed this energy and the synchronicities therein, you had many numerical numbers coming from Metatron to assist you with your recognition of the truth of the connections that you're making. So simply acknowledge them, accept them, and release doubts. And yes, be in your joy and celebration of this beautiful connection and connections as you see them happening more and more, and stronger will become your opportunities for manifestation and to be and live within your highest and best life. You may also begin to see these moments of seeing someone's aura, seeing the light show up in moments similar to what Wendy was expressing about walking, and all of a sudden there was a beam of light in front of her. And yes, one that she created herself, but desired to have an acknowledgement of these new energies coming through as the timelines shift into a more quantum realm for those who are connecting at that level, because these new light codes are coming in more and more strongly. And along with that, these higher light codes will, as we have foretold, and when I say we, I do not simply mean the Arcturians, but the Galactics in general, of calamities coming, and to stand in your faith and stand in your light when these hardships and these difficult times come. They are difficult. And this does not mean that you do not have the expression of sadness and feeling also the sense of the collective loss of these souls, but also standing within your own higher selves of the understanding that not all will be able to survive these higher vibrations and frequencies, and that many will choose to leave the earth realm at this time and to become their higher selves, their light bodies. And as anyone who has lost someone close to them know, the morning time still needs to be the morning time, as the emotions need to be worked through. But they do not feel this pain. They do not feel the loss of this world. Rather, they are celebrating and in celebration of the light and the joy of where they are reconnected in with the one, the oneness of the all. And when they go in a large group, they are all there embracing one another with so much love and so much joy. But yet those left behind, as the world watches, are the ones that have to move through the grief and the loss, as also the grief and the loss encompasses past lives and the memory of these past lives, especially within a quake, an earthquake, a volcanic loss, the flooding loss, such as Lemuria. That these past energies also have come up to be recognized, acknowledged, cleared, and released from the memory of the causal bodies within your auric fields.
Does anyone else have a question? Donnie, Joan? Okay, it looks like no questions.
We
If
bring
you
up
could
for discussion. Go ahead.
well, I was just going to ask for, yeah, an additional healing and clearing.
I will send this. And for clarification, Wendy was discussing that there was an additional question regarding her meditation and forthcoming dream, where she saw a chalice, a silver chalice, being brought to her mouth just as she was stepping into her meditation, and drank from it, and then falling into an astral sleep. As she was awakening from this meditation, coming back to her awareness, her conscious awareness, because not all things that she is involved in working with are to be known yet at this time. But as she did come back to her conscious awareness, she stood at a banquet table and had her plate. And at this table, there were foods that seemed unfamiliar to her, like celery with little white blossoms, like buds at the top of the celery. And there was what seemed to be caviar. And she said, I don't think I've ever had caviar. I'd like to try that. And then there were succulent plants and salads and many other greens, foods of the earth. And her plate, as a normal sized plate, was full and overflowing. And then somebody set more succulent plants. And as she said, no, 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 this is too much. I have enough already. I have enough. And so she took some of the succulent plant and set it back to the table instead of being served to her plate. And then as she was walking back toward the other side of the table, another being said, oh, you must have some of this celery looking plant. You must try this. It's delicious, they said to her. And they began to serve her to her plate. And she said, Oh, no, thank you. I already have some on my plate. I have some. And they said, oh, yes, we see that you have some on your plate. Very well. And then bid her to go and eat and enjoy the food that she had. But she also stood kind of hiding from the group of men coming from a conference room, walking behind her as if she did not want them to see that she had this plate of abundance. And what this was recognizing that her cup overflows, that it is filled to the rim, and that her plate also is showing her with this overage of food, the abundance, and that more is being gifted to her and gifted to her. And she was recognizing her abundance and saying, I am fulfilled, I am satisfied, I have enough. But that does not mean that Source is not giving her more. Because even though she has so many gifts, he has so many more to still bestow upon her. And she was saying, I'm interested in tasting of that of which I have not yet had or experienced, which is what the caviar represented. And the men walking behind her as a group coming from the conference room was the masculine collective beginning to make its way out, leaving the conference room. And this is the moment where the divine feminine begins to rise more within the global collective, if you will, of humanity. And the reason that she was hiding from them is because of her unwillingness at this time to show herself completely in her openness to who she is within her power of the light. And although she's taken steps, there are parts of her that are still being healed, to step out of these energies of unworthiness, to step out of these lower frequencies of I am not enough, to step out of these frequencies of fear of failure. And although she knows that we and many others have her back, it is many past lives of fear that need to be released and worked through and acknowledged. And she is doing this, but it is still a path to be cleared. And as each of these dreams bring the awareness to what this energy is, it allows her to quickly sweep through it, clear out the dust, and bring in these new energies. And so now we will go ahead and send you with a blessing and a clearing. You may feel the heat of this energy as we begin to send it now. And we will close with some light language. We are the Arcturian Council, the Healing Council, and my blessings to you. Akoya nara tahira nara kahori nyara tayen yara kuhuira nara kahira nara kahira tuira nara kahira pahuira nara kahira tuira tayen yara kakriera ritni takriera nyara kutukuya na pakriera takriera na takriera tutukuira tayera nyur tukuya tapayera nara atayera nara tahira na kahira turu 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 turu. Feel the coolness of the light. coming to you now. Feel the mother's love. Feel the hearts of those that support you. Know that those who have left send their love and their request for you to find your peace. To not be in disarray, to find your balance. Similar to trying to stand on your toes. Finding yourself stepping, trying to find the balance. Hands held high, reaching. Know that when your hands are up, that we hold your arms. That source, Father God, Mother God, Creator is with you, holding your hands. Wipe your tears. Lift your face. We see you. Shine your love. Let the tears cleanse you. Know that we are with you always. You are embraced. The love will come. Stand solid in your faith. And know that life continues beyond the life that you know within the physical plane. You are spirit. You are light. You are love.
Well, DNA activation and cleansing as well.
I am just sitting in this energy. I could feel my heart releasing and then more yawning again at the end with that blessing. And the vibration of my palm is still really moving. It's almost like a little circular vortex portal coming from my palm. As I was like holding it out for the blessing. And I have those, like that whole body chills, you know? So I don't know if you're experiencing that too, or how you're experiencing this energy, but. Whew.
Well, I changed from chills to like having a hot flash, so I had to get up and turn the temperature on the thermostat down a couple degrees again and turn on the ceiling fan and take my sweatshirt off because all of a sudden I got hot.
Yeah. Cold, hot, cold. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Hot, and that was when you were just starting to get into channeling. So that was pretty interesting.
So interesting what we all felt. We all felt the current cold and hot. It's amazing.
Oh yeah. I burped.
Yeah, I also.
I was doing that too. Yeah.
And hiccup. I had hiccups as well.
Oh, you had the hiccups?
Yeah.
Oh man. Now I've noticed when I come out from channeling, like I talk about having that quantum feeling. So sometimes it just like feels like it's like right around me, like just like kind of right like around me. But the last couple of times that I channeled, it's like my whole, like my body doesn't feel like my body yet. Like it feels like it's just like energy, like
Yeah, light.
like like really light. So
That's how I
and
felt.
lightheaded. I mean, like that lightheadedness, like that dizzy lightheadedness. And so that's how and that's how it feels. So instead of it like usually I'll be like, okay, I'm done channeling, and then I'll want to talk right away. But now I notice like I'll come out and I'm just like I can't do anything yet. I'm just like kind of in this like it, like if I had to put a sound to it, it would be like you know?